Hi, look at this model. What number does it represent? There are a total of 100 squares, so each square represents 1/100th. Since 25 of them are shaded in, this represents 25 out of 100, or the fraction 25 hundredths. This fraction can be simplified to 1/4. Can you think of another way to write this number? Each square represents 1/100th, which can be written as a decimal like this, with a 1 in the hundredths place. We have 25 hundredths, which is written as a decimal like this, with the 5 in the hundredths place. We can also write this number as a percent. 1% is 1 part out of 100, so each square on the model represents 1%. Since we have 25 parts that are shaded in out of 100, this is 25%. Great! Each of these numbers represents the same amount, so they are equivalent numbers. Numbers can be written as fractions, decimals, and percents. Let's learn how to convert numbers to different forms. How do you write 40% as a fraction? Percents represent a part out of 100. That means we can write a percent as a fraction with a denominator of 100. Since we have 40%, we have 40 parts out of 100. So our numerator is 40. Great! Can this fraction be simplified? Both 40 and 100 are divisible by 20. So this fraction is equal to 2/5. 40% is equal to 2/5. Let's try another one. How do you write 13/25 as a percentage? This time we are converting a fraction to a percent. Remember that percents represent a part out of 100. So let's use equivalent fractions to write 13/25 with a denominator of 100. 25 times what number is 100? 25 times 4 is 100. Now multiply the numerator by 4 too. 13 times 4 is 52. Great! Now that we have 100 in the denominator, we see that we have 52 parts out of 100, which is 52%. So 13/25 is equivalent to 52%. You did it! Let's keep practicing. How do you write 0.2 as a percentage? Since a percent is 1 part out of 100, 1% is equal to 1/100th, or 0.01. So, how many hundredths is 0.2? Well, 0.2 is 2/10ths, which is the same as 20 hundredths. That's 20 parts out of 100. So, 0.2 is the same as 20%. Awesome! Here's a tip. When we convert a decimal to a percent, we can simply move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Let's try it. But first, since we only have one digit after the decimal point, let's add a 0 to the end of our number. Remember, this won't change the value. Now we're ready. Here's the decimal point. We'll move it 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Great! Remove the unnecessary 0 at the beginning. Add a percent sign, and we can see that 0.2 is the same as 20%, just like we found before. You did it! Here's another example. How do you write 0.008 as a percent? In this decimal number, the 8 is in the thousandths place instead of the hundredths place or the tenths place. Remember, to convert any decimal to a percent, we can move the decimal 2 places to the right. Here's the decimal. Now let's move it. 1, 2. Now add a percent sign to the end of the number and remove the unnecessary zeros. Awesome! The decimal 8 thousandths is the same as 0.8%. That amount is less than 1%. Let's try one more. How do you write 95% as a decimal? 95% represents 95 parts out of 100. So we have 95 hundredths, or 0.95. Great! Ready for another tip? To convert a percent to a decimal, we will follow the same steps as converting a decimal to a percent, but in reverse. That means we can move the decimal point 2 places to the left. Let's try it. Right now, the decimal is after the 5. Now, move it 2 places to the left. 1, 2. Great! 95% is the same as 0.95. You're getting the hang of this. Keep practicing.